It's close. Next question.
Okay, I guess...
That's a pretty good stack you got there, buddy.
Yeah, well, we can make through... Alex, where are you? Okay, you let me know when we're time-wise. All right. So I guess first to Hanna, would you compare and contrast working on WordGirl to Astroblast, which is a very different show in a lot of ways in terms of pipeline, in terms of content, and actually maybe explain a little bit in greater detail what Astroblast is.
From the very beginning, Astroblast was the cutest little show about animals in space eating food. And first they did math, and that just didn't work. Nobody liked it.
We hated math.
Educational shows are terrible. Nobody wants to do that. We wanted to do cute shows.
You might notice that WordGirl gets less and less educational as it goes on.
Yeah, just to let you know, WordGirl used the word potent as the word of the day twice. I noticed.
Tumblr noticed.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, maybe, probably. Astroblast was... We learned so many lessons about WordGirl, and we changed so much as a studio from WordGirl to Astroblast, where WordGirl, we wanted to, it was a lesson, and it was limited animation, and how it looked wasn't so important, whereas Astroblast, it was all about being silly. Like, we were told often to tone down WordGirl. Up until the end when nobody cared, but I remember a lot of times we were told like, that's too cartoony, you can't do that, and it was very limiting sometimes.
No burping, no drooling.
No sticking your finger in the... There were some incredible jokes that were taken out. Yeah, no pointing, because kids can point at each other like that, and that's repeatable behavior that's bad, and we had a lot of restrictions like that. Whereas Astroblast did have those restrictions, but because it was silly animals in space, we had a lot more license, and also it was supposed to be silly. Like, we were pushed to be silly, and that was very freeing as a culture to work on a show because we could do whatever we wanted within reason, I think. Right, Emily?
We couldn't have radar on somebody's shoulders.
Oh, right. The only thing we had to worry about was making their poses a little bit too sexual, and it's
sexual.
Well, shoulders.
So, we couldn't do this pose, which we like doing a lot. Nobody could look over their shoulder and bat their eyes because it was too sexy. I'm like, oh, the pig is too sexy. Sexy pig. So there was a lot of internal emails about griefing about sexy pig jokes, and I've made a lot of fan art. So has DeviantArt.
We used to have a fake DeviantArt account, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we did.
It was just studio people making WordGirl fan art that was not appropriate.
Yeah.
But not to the knowledge of that it was actually us.
Can you send me that link?
I don't
It
remember
was
what it was.
Pegaunisaurus Con or something like that. It had a silly name,
We'll find it.
and it was actually right about when
It ended around the time that I started. I might have killed it.
I feel like it started when I started.
Disgusting. Take it down.
Yeah. So WordGirl was limiting, but still full of jokes. Like, it was joke a minute. And we wanted to have that same kind of feel for Astroblast, but... Well, no, it was just like tons of jokes. It wasn't... If the jokes weren't in the script, they were visual. Yeah. And it was constant. It was like bang, 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 bang. But like, if you watch a WordGirl episode and you don't like snigger a little bit at something, then you're dead inside. And we always get compliments from like adults being like, that was funnier than I thought it was going to be being on PBS.
That's my favorite comment.
I know!
I can stand watching this show with my kids.
Yeah. Thanks. So Astroblast, in a difference to that, it was lineless art, and if you've ever done art and had outlines and then not had outlines, it's a totally different playing field as far as animation-wise. They put a lot more importance on the storyboard phase. In fact, we got double the time to do storyboards, which was amazing because... Yes, we did.
Alex didn't.
I didn't.
Sucker!
Alex just worked double down.
And it was very audio-driven, so we would make like audio animatics before we even sent it overseas, and that was another big thing about it. We didn't animate it in-house, which when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is the beginning of the end of Soup2Nuts.
You like a job in animation.
It was like one of the saddest things I ever heard, that we weren't going to animate it in-house. But they did a pretty good job. I was really fearing the worst. Yeah.
They did as good a job
Well, it
or
depended,
better
like,
than we could have done.
Sometimes we got like the C team, some episodes. We were like, whoa.
We try to go.
But, you know, when they had their best people, it was amazing. And we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is amazing. It only took like 3 weeks. Even during, like, we sent it to the 5? I don't know. When we sent, we sent it to the Philippines. And remember when they had that giant earthquake that was very devastating? It didn't interrupt their schedule at all. And we were like, hey, should we just like...
I'll take credit for that.
No. Do you remember when we called them and we were like, hey, do you guys need like time? Do you guys need to hire more people or grieve or take care of business? And they're like, nope, we're good. Let's just keep going. And it's like, oh my God. And that was incredible. And we had to keep it at 11 the whole time, whereas Word Girl, they were striving to pare it down. And in Astroblast, they're like, bring it up! And
I will say, in the time that Astroblast came out, it seemed clear that there was less restrictions on Word Girl, and people stopped caring as much in terms of like what we could and could not put in there, which was a very nice transition.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if there were ever restrictions on Word Girl.
The fun police?
Yeah.
what do you mean?
I just mean that for in the last season we did like, there was an episode with like a weird cult, and there was like the people and the dogs and all that, and we got away with that because at the end of the day, PBS, I don't think they really cared.
Yeah, I think we had a contract and we delivered and that was it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they finish airing Word Girl? Is that all done? That all happened, right?
Yeah.
All right. That happened very fast.